Hi guys, good morning. Welcome to my channel. I hope all of you are doing very well today. The topic for today's session is skin rule. So in today's session, I'm going to explain you what exactly is a skin rule and how can you create new formats or use existing OOTB formats in your UI components. Okay, so let's get started. So first things first, whenever we create a new application in Pega, there will be a skin rule created. So as we know, we can create the new application with the help of new application wizard. And whenever you run the new application wizard, there will be a series of rules that Pega creates for us at backend. So in those set of rules that gets created, whenever we run the new application wizard, there is a skin rule also that gets created. So if you open the definition of your application, and if you see under the presentation category, you will be able to see what is the skin rule for your application. Okay, so let's open this skin rule. Now, in this skin rule, the first tab is the component styles. Okay, so if you see in this particular tab, there will be different styling configurations with respect to all of your UI elements. Okay, so if you expand the three lines that you see over here, you will be able to see all other UI components. So if you see, there is a category for controls. So in this control, you can give the styling, or you can see what styling configurations are pre-configured. So when I say pre-configured, so we need to understand that the application skin will be inherited from an existing OOTP skin. So how can you know from where it is inheriting the styles? So for that, you need to go to the inheritance tab. So if you go to the inheritance tab, you'll be able to see skin inheritance. Okay. And right now it is getting inherited from Cosmos skin. So what is this Cosmos skin? So if you open this Cosmos skin, you'll be able to see this is one of the OOTP skin mode that Pega has created. Okay, so this is belonging to the theme Cosmos 040101 rule set. So our skin, the training skin, which is present in our application in the implementation layer, that is inheriting the styles from an existing OOTP skin called Cosmos skin. So all those inherited styles, how can you see? So for example, let's click on labels and required field control. So if you click on any of these control, and if you see over here, so there are two tabs, my formats and inherited. So inherited, if you switch to the inherited tab, so these are the formats that are inherited from the Cosmos skin for the control labels and required field. Now, this is some of the OOTP formats, but there is also a flexibility and feasibility to create your own format. And then once you create any format, right, any new format for any of your UI components or controls, so that will be listed under the My Formats tab. So I will be showing this shortly, how to do that. But before that, let's understand how we can navigate through various options that is there in the skin rule. Okay, so let me first run the case and show you a simple screen that we have, and then we will try to modify it by using the skin rule. So let's take, for example, this UI itself. Okay, so what if we have a requirement that this particular field that we have, right, enter your text name. So what if I have a requirement that the label, which is enter your name, this should appear in a different color. So right now it is appearing in light gray color, and we have a requirement to, let's say, make it green in color. Okay, I'm talking about the label only. I'm not talking about the value that we enter. First, let us try to see how this label color can be changed. Okay, so if you want to know what format is currently used, how do you do that? So let's open this section. Let's do a live UI, and let's open the section where this field is present. So this is a section, enter student details. The first text input is what we are talking about. So let's click on the pencil icon and open the settings or configurations of this particular cell. So if you go to the presentation tab, okay, anything related to the styling or the format or the UI look and feel category, most of the settings will be present under the presentation tab. Okay, so let's go to the presentation tab, and here if you scroll down, you see two different things. One is the control format and one is the label format. So currently the scenario that I am talking about is specific to the label. Okay, we are talking about this label, enter your name. The label is enter your name. So this is a label. Okay, so if you see what is the format currently used, so it's a OOTB format called standard. Now let's go back to the skin rule and let's see where it is. So this is the OOTB one. Let's go to our application skin, which is training. So we are talking about what component? We are talking about component label. Okay, so let's click on the label. And what is the format name? We are talking about standard format, right? So this is the one that is currently configured in our section. Label format is standard. And if you want to see how is the look and feel, so if you see here on the extreme right, preview, preview pane is there, right? So in the preview pane, you will be able to see how a particular format will look like on UI. So right now we are able to see this is exactly the one that gets picked. It's little bit grayish in color. The font color is grayish. Now what the requirement that I told was, let's try to make it green in color. Okay, so before creating any new formats, first let us see if any of the inherited format will satisfy the requirement. So let's quickly check others. So standard label for field, no, this is also gray. General general is also not matching a requirement. Heading is also not matching. Heading 2, heading 3. So if you notice, right, when I'm clicking each of these, the preview pane is showing me how a particular format will look on UI. So this is very helpful for a developer. Okay, so before creating any new format, let us see if any existing one is already satisfying the requirement. So we are able to see that no, none of these is satisfying our requirement. Okay, before creating a new format, right, let us try to use one existing OOTB format. So for example, right now standard is being used. Let me try to show you what happens if I change the format to heading. So if you see in the preview, right, it should be in a bold and a heavy font. It should display, the label should display like this. Okay, so let's try to change. So how do you change? So you can remove this and you can do the down key. Probably let's start typing something. So if you type a few characters, right, it's an autocomplete. So it will give us, so let's choose heading 3, for example. So heading 3, how it should look like. So this should look not heading 3. Let's go with heading 2. Okay, let me change this to heading 2. Let's submit. And please note that I have only updated the label format. I have not done anything with the control format. So we will see that also. But for now, let's focus on one thing at a time. Okay, let's see. There you go. So you see the format is changed now. So now I have used a OOTB format, which is inherited from Cosmos Skin, and that is heading 2. Okay, similar to this, you can create your own formats and you can give your own styles. Okay, now let us go back to the original question that I asked, how to make this label as a green color. Okay, so let's try to see how to do that. Let's go to the skin rule. Let's save as this into a unlocked rule set. Okay, 112 is unlocked for me. Create and open. Okay, let's again click on the 3 lines. Let's go to the label. And then let's click on standard. So over here, if you see, when you select any of the inherited formats, there will be a button that comes up, which is actions. When you click on it, there will be a save as option. Okay, so we need to select that. So it will ask you, while you're saving as an existing format, OOTB format, it will ask you for the name that you want to give for the new format. So let's give a meaningful name. Let's call it green label. Okay, and then let's submit. So once you do this, under my formats, like I told, the new format that you create, that will be listed under the my formats. Okay, so let's click on it, and now you can specify the size. So right now, since we have saved as this from an existing format, so you see this is having its existing settings, but you can always update the settings. So either you can use a mix-in, you can create a mix-in and you can use it over here, or if you want to specify the styles individually, you can click on the specify styles. Okay, so if I click on the specify styles, what I see, the font color option is there, right? What is my requirement? My requirement is to make the font color green. Okay, so as soon as I click on the color palette, it will give me all the color options available. So let's go with this one. Okay. If you see current color is gray, new color is what I selected. If you have a hexa value of your color, that also you can specify. Okay. And then if we click on save, so if you see, if you notice, right, even before I saved and I used it on UI, the preview pane is what helps as a developer. We can see that if the look and feel is what we are trying to configure. Okay, so this is correct. This is how I want. I want the font of my label as green color. So with respect to how to create a format, this is it. You just save as any of the existing format and you can change whatever settings you want. You can change the font size also, font weight also. All these you can change, and if you want you can add some additional styles also. So all this is possible. For now I'm just showing you how to update the color. Okay, now first part is done. So we have created a new format called green label and we have given the desired color that we want. Now how to use it in the section? You have to also use it in the section, right? This is only the creation. So creation is done. Now our new format is ready. Now let's go back to the section. Again, let's click on the field. Let's go to the presentation tab. And in the label format, let's try to see if our new format is coming. So as soon as I type green, right, green label format is listed in the autocomplete. Let's submit it. Save it. And let's refresh our case. Okay, so there you see, green color label is displaying now. So similarly, you can change any of the styles with respect to the label in the similar way, like how I just showed you. So this is about the label format. So if you go back to the section, another thing that we saw in the presentation was control format. So what is this control format? So what is a control first of all? So control in this case is a text input. Okay, so whatever subs we add over here, right? So each of these is a control. So for us in this particular scenario, text input is the control that we're talking about. So this format is the control format. So if you again go back to the skin rule, and if you see under the control section, you see text inputs. If you go to the inherited tab in a similar fashion, so this control is the current control which is being used. Okay, now in the text input, if you want, you can update or you can create a new format for the control also. For now, let me just use an existing and show you how the change is. So this time we are going to use a heading 2 format for our text input and see how it changes the look and feel. So let's try to change this. Let's use heading 2, submit, save, and let's create a new case. Let's see. Priya, do you see the difference? So now the control format means it is applied to the content of the control. So since this is a text input, so as soon as I start typing the text, right? So the control format will be applied here. And label format is the format or styling applied to the label. Similar to this, if you go to the skin rule, you should be able to add styling to any of these components. So if you want to add some style to the drop down, so you can select the controllers drop down. You can go to the inherited styles. You can see there are 2 inherited styles. If you want, you can create your own custom one also, or you can use your existing OOTB. So again, all these configurations will be specific to your project requirements. But I hope now you should be able to understand how you can come to the skin rule and you can see what are the different stylings that Pega has created for us for different UI components. And if needed, you can create your own custom styling or format. Okay, so I hope this session was helpful. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel and stay tuned to all the upcoming contents. Okay, thank you so much for listening in. Have a nice day.